Hello! Day of the Dead is coming real soon. It is celebrated in Mexico on November 1st and November 2nd. If you want to set up your altar with me, then let's go ahead. Welcome, my name is Aileen, your Mexican Bruja, and today I'm so excited to share some of my culture with you as we set up an altar for our beloved ones. So let's dive right in. For starters, you have a picture of your beloved one. In this case, I'm going to be setting up this altar with for my grandpa. I only have this one picture that has me. Don't do this. This is bad juju. I'm going to change it later. But because I'm starting traveling, this is the only one that I kept. But I am going to print another one with only him. So a picture of your beloved one. You put it right here in the center. Of course, I do hope that you have some kind of frame or something pretty. If not, then it's okay. They get the idea. Something that can never be missing from an altar is this candle. The candles are a guide, are an aid for them to see the light, and then they can come here through and find the altar that is meant for them. I usually put it next to the picture so it would actually light them and they know that it is for them and not for anybody else. Not that this is something that is only set up for them, but it is easier for them to go to the altar that is actually made for them. There are other things that you can do in order to make the other souls come to the light and also visit you. And this is a way to help them too. Then we have the cempasúchil. Right now, I don't have the actual flower because it is very hard to take care of, and I know that I'm not gonna give it the proper care that it needs. But the cempasúchil is a great flower because it has a very cute myth. It comes from the Aztec culture. This flower comes from Xochitl and Huitzilin. These were two young people that got married. They fell madly in love since childhood, so they got married and they were living happily. But Huitzilin was a warrior and he wasn't to war. The thing is that he died way too young, and when Xochitl knew about this, she went crazy in pain. She had a lot of sorrow. So she traveled into the mountain to visit the god of the sun, Tonatiuh. And there she asked him for a way to see her beloved one at least once more, because they say goodbye. They didn't know that was the last time. So Tonatiuh actually saw her and felt sorry for her. He was able to see all of that pain, all of that sorrow, and he said like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for you. Only one condition: I have to turn you into a flower. So Xochitl was turned into a flower. Funny fact, Xochitl actually means flower. So I guess it is all part of the story. It all comes together. She got turned into a flower there in that mountain, and every day she would absorb all of the sun rays, and every night she would shine. But the thing is that she wasn't blooming, she was still closed. Until one day a hummingbird came and caressed her petals. When a hummingbird came, she immediately recognized that energy as her husband, Huitzilin. That's the moment where she finally bloomed, and the whole mountain was covered in cempasúchil flowers. These ones. From then on, the myth begins, and every time that we want our beloved ones to come here and visit us, we use the cempasúchil flowers because they bring light, and also the smell that they give are a guide to the dead people coming to visit us. And another cool thing is that the hummingbird that Huitzilin got turned into, this is actually an omen in Mexican culture. Whenever you see a hummingbird, it represents that person, a beloved one that is coming and is actually saying hi, seeing how you're doing and visiting us. So that's cool. This is why we have the cempasúchil flowers. I'm gonna leave them right here where you can see them. Then we have salt, which is in order to purify. I do use salt in a lot of spells, in a lot of things, and it's exactly the same purpose. So the soul isn't corrupted once they come and they go back. Here, I actually have Himalayan salt, but any salt will do for this ritual, for this altar. By the way, speaking about everything that is Day of the Dead related and ancestral, I did an ancestral lineage healing video. So if you're interested, it is a very, very powerful thing if you actually do it on November 1st or 2nd, because all of these portals are more prone to be open. So it is a good way to just shine light into your whole ancestral line. It is a good way to heal karma, to heal all these diseases or things that might come from an ancestor, but are from your own personal karma, which is different. And if you would like to know a little more about past lives, Akashic records, ancestral healing, karma, then be sure to check out my page. It's right down there in the comments, in the description. So what's next? It is, of course, vital to have some kind of protection. A very, very big one is actually the copal. I do have this mini copal holder right here. The usual thing is to have it's called saumerio. I'm gonna put the word right here in English because I really don't know it like right now, but this is where you hold all of these things. You put it to burn, and then the smoke helps to keep all the bad spirits at bay. So only the person that you want, in this case, my grandpa and everyone from my ancestral lineage who would like to come by and say hi, are the only ones who can pass. Everyone else just stays out. And also I do have a protection healing how you say prayer that you can say on these days. I'm gonna put the link right up. So we put here copal and the incense. I do have an incense holder, but it is way over there. Just if you do have an incense holder, put it there. Now we have something that I like a lot, which is this candy skull. This comes, of course, from the Aztec rituals too. They used to make sacrifices, and in order to pay respect of the people that they made the sacrifices with, because let's understand something, all the sacrifices, all these rituals, it was an honor to be sacrificed. There wasn't this thing of people not wanting to be sacrificed. People were actually fighting in order to get ahead in these rituals and be the ones sacrificed, because it was an offering for the gods, in order to do a lot of things, in order for them to bring rain, in order for them to help with the crops, in order for them to have more sun, whatever it is, love, you name it. In this case, there was a particular ritual for honoring the dead. And in this particular one that I am about to tell you is actually the origins of the pan de muerto, the dead bread. I don't know how you would call that, which is something that is also gonna come into our altars, but I'll get back to that in a second. So when Aztecs did these rituals, which was an honor, they kept the skulls in order to keep honor to the people that made the ritual, who made the sacrifice. And they had something that's called astrompantli, which is actually just lines of skulls, and they were offered to the Lord Mictlantecutli, which is the Lord of the underworld, the Mictlan. They were offered to them, and they kept them until they disintegrated. So right now, when the Spain came and banned all of these rituals because they thought they were gruesome, the people were refusing to take that, to just leave everything behind. And they came to a kind of agreement, so to speak, and they made this candy made out of sugar. These are actually delicious. This one is not meant for eating. This is something very, very important. Whatever that you put here on your altar, you cannot drink and you cannot eat after November 1st and November 2nd, because it is here for the dead. So they come, and they come as the form of souls, as the form of spirits. So they come, they eat the bread, they eat the things that you put there, and then they go back. So in a kind of way, there's already no soul in the bread or in the food or in the water that you put there. So don't eat it, just dispose of it. This goes for the skull. This is for my grandpa, so I'm not gonna eat this one, but I do have another one that I plan on eating. That one's just for me. This is a great way to honor the dead, because as I told you, they put them in the Zompantli in order to honor them. So when I'm putting the skull right here, I'm honoring my grandpa. And now moving on to the pan de muerto. This is super, super delicious. You have no idea. And there are so many different kinds nowadays. They're doing like things with Nutella, they're doing things with sugar covered in something else, and with jam, a lot of stuff. This particular one, again, I'm not gonna eat because this is for my grandpa, which I'm blocking and I don't want to. So the origin of the pan de muerto bread is from a sacrifice that the Aztecs used to do. In this particular ritual, they were doing an offering for the god of death. In this offering, they used to sacrifice a young princess virgin. They rip her heart out and they put him in amaranth. Then the officiant of the ceremony ate a bit of the heart and left the rest for the gods. Then with the remainder of the blood and the amaranth, Aztecs used to make a bread that was to be sorted out with everyone else in the village. So then again, when Spain came and all of these rituals were banned, they tried to find like a middle point, so to speak, and that's where this bread was actually made. The first ones, and these vary from state and state of Mexico. This is the most common one that I've seen from Mexico City and even here in Guadalajara. But I do know, and I have seen a lot of other breads that are similar, others not so much. The first ones were trying to resemble the actual heart and were made with red paint, with red dye. So it would resemble the heart of the princess that they would sacrifice. Then it kept evolving until right now we have this. And actually it has a lot of symbolism. The circle of the bread is meant to represent the cycle of life and death, the eternal cycle. Then this cross that we have here represents the skulls, and the part of the center represents the skull. There's another one where the same thing, the circle represents the cycle of life and death, but the cross represents the 4 cardinal points for 4 of the Aztec goddess. They were Quetzalcoatl, Tlaloc, Xipe, I forgot this one, let me check it real quick. Xipetutec and Tezcatlipoca. So each cardinal point is ruled by each one of these gods, and the center represents the heart. Now it's just a welcome, it's just an offering for the souls that are coming right here, and as a thank you for visiting us. Then you have the water. This water is for them to not be thirsty, so it's to drink, but also to cleanse. So this one's important. I always leave it very close, so my grandpa's not thirsty. And I already had this set up, but this is a peckered paper, I think it's called. In Spanish is papel picado. This also comes from a tradition. This represents the air in the altar. Also, each color represents something. Each color actually represents one of the cardinal points too. They are to represent each one of the gods. And as you can see, they have different designs. They have different, oh, maybe you cannot see this one, but here, for example, this one has skulls. This one has a Catrina preparing something for the dead. There's a lot of things. I think this one, oh, this is another skull, and here it says Dia de Muertos, Day of the Dead. I had one with only the Catrina, but it's right here. Let's move this a little bit. I hope you can see it. It's a little bit hard, but this one is the Catrina. And I move right back. So what else do we have here? Oh, and you put things that the dead liked. It is common to use liquor to make them remember the good times they had here on earth and the good times that are having in their eternal rest place. My grandpa used to love coffee, so I always leave him a little cup of coffee. He used to love Coke, so I leave him Coke too. It is common also to put personal items or actual foods, like for example, if they liked tacos or if they like a certain kind of bread, if they like whatever it is, you put them right there. With kids, it's very usual to have them some of the toys that they used to like, dolls or cars or whatever it was that they loved using as kids and when they were in display. So that's it. Now we have the altar. Remember to light it, to be very careful so nothing sets in fire. And I'm saying this from experience because once when I was in college, we used to have it was like a homework. It was kind of a competition at the end of the day because we were competing to see who had the best altar. It wasn't to anyone in particular, it was just an altar to honor the day in general. But then this girl came and she accidentally knocked a candle and everything was set on fire. So be very careful with that. I do recommend to leave the candle lit all of the day. November 1st is the day where the souls of the kids come, and November 2nd is where everyone else's soul comes. So I, of course, like this one on November 2nd, but you can actually have 2 candles because, again, just because you have an altar for someone that you love, in this case, I have the altar for my grandpa, it doesn't mean that you should keep everyone else away. This is also for souls to go and find their ways too. So I usually light these 2 candles, one on November 1st, so the souls of the kids can find the place, the tunnel to go to their eternal rest, and November 2nd for everybody else. In this case, yes, I have something for my grandpa, but it's still open for the souls of my ancestors and the souls of everybody else that mean good and that want to go to their eternal rest place. So this is it for today. I really hope that you liked it. Please let me see your altars, and if you have any questions or doubts, or you wanted to expand on any other subject, please go on and say so. Be sure to visit my ancestral lineage video right here. Be sure to subscribe, and see you soon.